Helena Chao, Head of Venture Capital and Crossover Coverage at Bank of America, and I'm delighted to be here this morning with my friend Amanda McMaster, Interim CEO and CFO of Boston Dynamics.
Thanks, Helena.
To be here with you today.
So excited to be here.
So 7 months ago at CES, Boston Dynamics was the darling of the show. I mean, it literally felt like we were waiting in line for a Disney ride to get into your booth. The production atlas revealed on Hyundai stage, plus the partnership with DeepMind, was a very powerful combo. It was also the moment that Boston Dynamics went from the company that makes incredible robot videos to actually shipping a real product. So how do you think about what Boston Dynamics needs to become in the next chapter versus the company that built the reputation?
Yeah, thanks, Helena. We came out with amazing prototypes for years. We've been working on humanoids for the last 20 years. And when we made the decision to productize this technology, it was really important that we incorporate everything that we learned over the last, say, 6 years commercializing Spot and then Stretch. So what some people might not know is that this is the third product we've productized, third robot in 1 decade. So we have Spot, which is our quadruped, Stretch, which works in warehouses and does box moving, and then now we're moving into our humanoid product. And the way that we've really been thinking about this is there's 4 pillars we believe that anyone who wants to be in the humanoid market needs to be thinking about. And I'll give them for you. So it's, does it perform? Is it reliable? And is it safe? That's critical. Does it do something that's actually important? Is it useful for customers? Is there a customer ROI? Do they have a plan for AI and the way that you're going to capture the data needed for these robotics foundation models and scale? And then, do you have a plan for scalability? We're so lucky in having Hyundai as part of our family, which we get to benefit from both the vertically integrated supply chain, customer relationships, and the entire ecosystem that they're building, which is very unique in the industry.
So you came into this role from the CFO chair. So you've had a front row seat to the cost side, right, of this in a way that most CEOs haven't, which I think is really interesting. And so when you look at the trajectory of building Atlas at scale, what is actually bending the curve? Is it the design, the supply chain? Is it the volume, or is it something else? And also, how does Hyundai factor in as your owner, as your first customer, and your supplier base all in one?
So the answer is yes. From the cost side, it all matters, right? And I think going back to this idea of having done this before, we understand how important it was to create a robot that was scalable right from the start. So if you look at the design of Atlas, you'll see that each of the arms and the legs are interchangeable. These are considered field replaceable. So our customers and even me, they let me try to fix these, and I can do it in under 5 minutes, and I'm not an engineer.
Wow, impressive.
So we've thought about this because what are the inhibitors to scale? What are the challenges to making money? And it's, can you simplify, and can you make this easy to service, easy to manufacture? And we've had that in mind from the beginning of Atlas. Even the head, as new chips are released, this is field replaceable, and we can be updating and not redoing an entire robot design. And then, of course, as I said, Hyundai, it's great for us that, part of where you get that cost inflection is enough scale and being able to purchase at scale and then produce at scale. They have signed up as our first customer. They're going to take between 25 and 30,000 worth of demand right off the top, and build us a facility. They're calling it Robotics in America. So we will have a manufacturing facility in the United States that is producing all of our robots and really allowing us to hit cost targets. So just to give you an idea, between the prototype and D1 that was revealed at CES, we simplified the design from 8 actuator types in the prototype to 2. in D1. And we've seen cost savings between 60 and 80% on some of the key components utilizing the Hyundai relationship.
That's amazing. That's super, super powerful. And I think it's really what makes you guys stand out amongst your peers.
Thanks.
Carolina Parada from Google DeepMind is also on stage later today. So your partnership pairs Boston Dynamics' physical AI with Google DeepMind's foundation models. But I know that you said it's not as simple as the body meeting the brain. How do you see that division of labor evolving? And also, where does the long-term advantage sit, in your opinion?
Yeah, I've asked this question a lot. They're like, isn't the Google DeepMind the brain, the robot's just the chassis? It's not valuable. So we put this together to try to demonstrate some of the differences here. We think about it as, again, not an engineer. I keep it simple, which is there's really two brains. There is the physical skills that are necessary. So think about this in terms of what Boston Dynamics is known for, and we've been doing for years. This is the physicality of the robot, the ability to manipulate the environment, its ability to have reliability. That is purely ours. And when we think about the physical, the semantic intelligence, so understanding the world, the reasoning models, that's what we're jointly developing with Google DeepMind. And then there's a third piece that folks haven't really been talking about yet that's embedded in that, which is how does it interact with the customers, the facilities? How do you build tools and workflows? We've been calling that the job harness piece of this, and that's very customer-specific information that would integrate into their environments. So you need all of that for this to be useful. And again, if one of our pillars is customer ROI, building something that's not just a cool prototype, but that is actually useful in their environments, we really believe you need all of these layers.
So 1X and Agility are also speaking today, and you're obviously, constantly compared to Figure and Tesla Optimus.
Yeah.
But Boston Dynamics has made a very deliberately different bet. So the design, the fully rotational joints, being enterprise grade rather than volume first. Can you share the thinking behind this approach?
Yeah, I think even though we seem like we're a little slower, I would say it's really coming from years of knowing that if you put a robot in the world that isn't valuable and doesn't solve a problem, it's not going to be valuable for our customers. They're not going to buy it, and we need them to buy it at scale. So that's the first piece. And then in terms of our joints and the decisions we made for this is we don't really want to be encumbered by the idea of what our human body is capable of doing. The idea is to be superhuman, right? The reason to have robots is that it can do things in a way that humans cannot, and augment human labor. So we don't need a replacement for humans. We need something that's different. So we've been really focused on pushing the boundaries of performance and seeing what we can make. And we think the efficiencies you get in being able to turn the joints 360 degrees is pretty amazing.
So the question underneath all of this, so for the operators and the investors in the audience here is, when a humanoid actually pays for itself, where do you see Atlas crossing that line first? And what should leaders be doing now to plan their workforce and factories around it?
Yeah, so again, key learnings from putting mobile autonomous robots in the world is we really aim to have a 2-year ROI on spot. We found that that's kind of the sweet spot for our customers. They can really justify that. It makes a lot of sense. It's the way they think about industrial tools. And so we're aiming for 2 years or less ROI for our customers. And that will be when Atlas is able to cross over.
Got it. And I guess like a year from now, so when this room is back together next year, what's the one concrete milestone that would tell everyone here that physical AI has genuinely turned the corner from promise to proof?
I think it's who has robots in the world. Have you done real deployments? If you don't have robots in there, then we haven't really met the inflection point. But we're prepared for it, so we're ready to put them in. We have our spots in the world. We're going to start working with, we're calling it a skills development lab next year. Outside of just Hyundai, we will have Atlas in customer hands. So I think that's going to be the mark for everyone.
Can you maybe talk a little bit about where Spot is currently deployed? I mean, you'll all get to meet Spot in a few minutes, but where is Spot currently being used?
Sorry, I'm going into other people's presentations. Give me 1 second. So you're going to meet Spot in a minute, but we have Spot in industrial settings right now, manufacturing facilities predominantly, anything in food and bev, anywhere you have high value assets that you want to do inspections on. So we do both visual inspections, acoustic and vibration detection, and then heat, we call it thermal detection. So we've seen a lot of benefits within, say, Nestle Purina is one of our key accounts. They have food manufacturing facilities, and so this is very helpful for them. We're in Intel, where you're seeing us do a lot of inspection of their old facilities. So while they've made a lot of renovations, maybe on what we'll call the second floor, the basements are still largely dark, and they have not been renovated, and it's a great use case for robots. You really don't want to be putting humans in those facilities, and so we're able to provide value. We have something north right of now of 600 customers over 46 countries. So there's actually not another mobile autonomous robot on the planet being used as much as Boston Dynamics. We have somewhere around 2 million inspections per quarter.
Wow, that's really powerful. Can you maybe talk also about the potential applications for Atlas? I mean, I would imagine it's similar type facilities, but with a different.
Yeah, we're starting with Hyundai, as you would imagine, as they've committed. So we're going to start in auto manufacturing. The way we're thinking about the application journey here is start where, we know that the tasks are repeatable. There's been a lot of work done in those facilities around safety and what it means for humans to work along with machines. So we feel like this is repeatable, scalable activities. So we're going to start in auto manufacturing with Hyundai. We're going to be working on job sequencing, part sequencing, and then moving into machine tending. And then, of course, we're going to have other customer applications outside of Hyundai, which really aligns to where Spot is today. So we imagine manufacturing facilities will have very similar needs. That's the conversations we're having today. And yeah, we're looking forward to it.
So on that note, shall we have the audience meet Spot?
Yeah, does everyone want to meet Spot? I'm like, where's Abby? We have our wonderful robot wrangler, Abby, will be bringing a Spot up to the stage. Everyone, this is Spot. Hey, Spot, what's going on? Good morning. You excited? Fist bump. So Spot is our mobile quadruped. We have 5 sensors, stereo cameras, 2 in the front, 1 on each side, and 1 here that we fondly call the robot. And there's also 1 in the gripper. The way that, as we said, we're using this particular morphology to do visual inspection. The arm allows for manipulation, like opening doors, turning valves, picking up almost anything that you'll see on the floor. And if you've seen some of the recent videos we've put together with Google Gemini, we're doing AI-VI, so AI visual inspection that allows for even more manipulation tasks and understanding of the world. Very cool.
And there's different attachments, right?
Yes, so we have different payloads. Right now, we have an arm on there. If we were putting this together for a manufacturing facility, for example, we'd likely have an acoustic sensor. We might have a thermal sensor on the back, and that allows for it to read gauges or read, if there's a gas leak, air leak in any of these assets, and report back. So the idea is, goes out into the facility, it collects all of this data very repeatably every single time. It can, unlike a human, it can go and have the same exact position from anywhere it is. And then we feed this into what we call Orbit AI. So this is our platform where we're running all of our data through. It both serves as a place for our customers to see, like a single pane of glass for them to see where their robots are, but also allows for them to engage with the robot. So, for example, if I were to say, Spot, go take a visual inspection of this facility, tell me anywhere there were puddles. Today it's pretty hot, there's probably no puddles, but if I said, tell me if there's any puddles, and also tell me anytime you find a puddle, and we're gonna put this into the system and figure out how we can avoid this. Is there a leak somewhere? Same thing with, when we start thinking about health and safety, fire protection, it can go and do those inspections, and then you have a Google Street View. Like, imagine that you click in, you can get a 360 rotation of what your facility looks like at any time. Were there people in your facility that you didn't want in there at a certain point? Did someone leave a ladder in front of a door? There's a lot of information you can gather while Spot's doing these inspections, and you're doing it and experiencing it all through the Orbit AI platform. Yeah. Thank you, Abby. Bye, Spot. Very cute. And you'll notice Spot's a champ at stairs, but likes to go down backwards. It's a little bit safer. It utilizes those cameras that are in its butt. No, I think so. It's good.
Well, I think we're just about out of time, but please join me in thanking Amanda for her time.
Thanks, everyone. So happy to be here. Thanks, Helena.